Reincarnation represents the belief that after death, the soul returns to a new earthly body. According to this teaching, the deceased person is reborn in another body after death, and thus the continuity, that is, the immortality of the soul, is maintained. This belief is not a recent creation. It is even an ancient belief. The ancient peoples believed in these stages of human existence, and it has its roots in Hinduism, Buddhism, but also in the mythical schools of ancient Egypt, which we will talk about here. In order to understand how the ancient Egyptians interpreted reincarnation, we must understand the initiation teachings of the Egyptian initiates about the human body. According to this teaching, the human body is composed of three principles. What we are all familiar with is the human body, which is made up of material form, that is, physical form, which we can see and touch. This form was called Khat by the ancient Egyptians. The next principle that practically extends the material body, that is, joins the body, is its double. This principle is connected with the astral level, so Paracelsus called it the astral body. The Egyptians called it Kia, and the modern Eastern sages called it a double. The astral body, is located in the great sympathetic nerve and all its branches. According to this principle, all the arteries, veins, and organs that animate this nerve are the counterpart of the physical body. Perhaps the most important principle influencing the matter of the astral double is the spiritual principle, which the ancient Egyptians called Ko, or spirit. According to ancient beliefs, the embodied human being, therefore, consists of the body Ka and the spirit Ku. After the birth of a human being, the spirit retreats into the astral regions, in the direction of the North Star, and from there awakens the material elements. It normally acts at a distance, through impulses that it sends towards the back of the head of the physical body in which it is located. After death, according to the ancient Egyptians, the principles change. The physical part of the body, which now includes the astral physical, is actually what surrounds the human being and is called Ba. The astral vital part of the fluid part of the body is called the Ba, that is, the soul. And we are left with the astral spiritual part, which is called Ba. It can be seen on Egyptian hieroglyphs as a sparrow with a human head. I believe that all this sounds a little complicated, if not too much for our understanding. But given our materialistic view of the world, no better explanation can be given than this. The purpose of the ancient Egyptian initiation of initiates was precisely to transmit knowledge about the reincarnation of a human being. These ancient teachings placed the aforementioned astral body on the evolutionary ladder immediately above the physical body. The evolution of each being does not occur during material embodiment, but on the astral level, which occurs immediately after physical death. Therefore, after physical death, there is astral rest, and depending on the being that should be reincarnated, there is a reincarnation in which the future astral body differs from the previous one. This evolution depends on the behavior of the incarnated spirit in the past life. For example, if a certain person did good deeds and behaved justly in a past life, in the future, they will grow in terms of evolution and will achieve numerous advantages. So to make it even clearer, we influence our future life with our previous life, or in other words, our current life is a reflection of our past life. The best example of the functioning of this life cycle is among people whose religion propagates reincarnation. The poor respect the rich, knowing that they deserved it in a past life and are aware that they were punished for the past life, so they do good deeds in this one and endure all efforts to deserve a better life in the next reincarnation. The cycle of reincarnation is an unbroken series that continues until the soul matures, which eventually transcends this endless series. There are many old souls who have been reincarnated countless times, but are still trapped in the cycle of reincarnation. There are also souls who are born for the first time. The time of reincarnation is uncertainty, the same as the time of death of the physical body. In these examples, we are mostly introduced to the type of normal reincarnation that occurs after a longer or shorter period of astral evolution. Another type would be an abnormal reincarnation that usually occurs immediately after death. This type of reincarnation is practically a punishment for the previous life and does not allow astral evolution. But practically, the soul is practically born in another body immediately after death. As we said, it is a punishment, for example, for suicide or an extremely sinful life on earth. In addition to the fact that it occurs immediately after death and does not allow astral evolution, it also carries other consequences from the previous life. It may happen that someone who committed suicide by hanging is born hunchbacked due to severing the spinal cord during suicide, or someone who shot himself in the head in the next life suffers from various mental disorders or epilepsy without a rational cause in the new real life. And the third type of reincarnation is the so-called forced reincarnation. This type is specific to the Egyptian interpretation of reincarnation and represents the captivity of the spirit on the astral level. That is, the spirit is caught in a mummified body that is not subject to the usual process of decomposition. The ancient Egyptians used mummification precisely for the purpose of reincarnating the deceased person in the same body. Specially trained priests prepared the body of the deceased for a new birth. using specially established techniques of mummification of the body, and a certain type of magic, that is, various charms and magical formulas. How successful this ritual was, it cannot be verified for now, but the fact is that mummification in the ancient Egyptian culture was established for centuries. Who knows, maybe it gave results. With this, we have only touched on the basics of the ancient interpretation of reincarnation. Otherwise, this topic is very extensive, so we will deal with it in some of the following videos. Until then, do good deeds and try to spend your life spreading positive energy, because if all this is true, you may be rewarded in the next life.